where you are involved with somebody that is doing just enough to keep you around, but not enough to actually make you happy and fulfilled in that relationship. Hi, my name is Laraba. In today's video, we're going to be talking about red flags in relationships. Please stay till the end of this video because the last point is actually going to blow your mind. All right, without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first red flag on my list is what I like to call let's see how it goes. And basically, this is a statement that I qualify to be two-sided, right? It could be that maybe somebody that you're involved with is telling you, let's see how it goes, because they have been deeply hurt in their past relationships and are genuinely very afraid of committing again. But maybe they really like you and they just want to have you around and all of that, which is something that is innocent and it can be allowed with certain conditions that have to be in place, right? And I'm going to get into what I mean by that shortly. But the flip side of the let's see how it goes is somebody that is doing all the things that you would find in a typical relationship, registering their presence in your life on a daily basis. They're calling, they're texting, they're sending reels, okay, video calls, friends, no friends. They see you around with this person, but the person does not want to verbally commit to you and say, oh, let's do this relationship, let's do this thing together, I want to do it with you. And you find yourself in a situation where you are wondering, what are we, what's going on, what's happening, are we together? Are we not? Can I see other people? Can I go on dates? The person is asking you things like, oh, have you eaten? Where did you go today? Who was that you snapped your picture with? And things like that. But the person is still telling you, oh, let's see how it goes. I don't know. Let's just, let's not rush anything. This is actually a way for such a person to eat his or her cake and have it, because this is not a gender thing. This can be done by both male or female, right? And this is an absolute red flag. The way that you would be able to identify if you are in a situationship or in a situation where somebody is doing the let's see how it goes thing with you is, one, if the person says it, duh. And the second part is if the person is doing everything that is required in a relationship but doesn't want to verbally commit to you. That's an absolute red flag. The second point is poor communication. Now, it's one thing to be able to communicate. You talk, I talk, I talk, you talk, we're talking, right? That seems like communication, but in actual fact, that's just us talking, really. When the communication is not effective, when there is no understanding that is reached, when there is no proper comprehension of what is being passed across, that can be qualified to be poor communication. There are people that genuinely struggle with this, probably because of their upbringing or one reason or the other, probably literacy or one thing or the other. But it doesn't change the fact that there is a difference between communicating and communicating poorly. When you are communicating poorly, you would find that such a person is not able to articulate their emotions and their feelings. They are not able to understand it and they are not able to express it in words, right? So you find a situation where somebody is trying to say something to you or making statements like, I don't know how to explain how I feel. I expect you to understand. I expect you to just know, things like that, without giving the actual proper an effective way of passing that message across to you in a way that you can comprehend. That can be a major red flag. It might seem innocent, and you would find that sometimes in certain situations, these people are actually trying to communicate, but they can't. And if it's a situation like that, be sure that such a person is teachable and ready to actually learn how to communicate effectively and realizes that he or she is deficient in proper communication and is willing to learn how to communicate effectively. But if you find that that person that cannot communicate is not willing to acknowledge that they cannot communicate and does not want to learn how to communicate, then no, no, no. Big red flag. Okay. The next on the list is what is called breadcrumbs. Now, I personally have been in a situation like this, even though it was not a romantic relationship, it was actually a business setting. While I was working for the person, I found that the person would stretch me so much, would do some certain things, put some certain tasks on me that were not exactly in the job description, and I would find myself doing odd stuff. And every now and then I would get to a point where I'm really burnt out and I'm tired and really, really thinking, should I really be doing this right now? And all of that and all of that. And then whoosh, all of a sudden a nice gesture just comes out of nowhere. It's either a gift or like some maybe bonus money or something just happens. And I'm just like, oh, well, this person is not so bad. This whole thing is not so bad. Maybe the person really genuinely wants to do this and that and this and that, but I just find myself giving excuses for this, for the person, for the scenario, for the situation, and I keep on moving along with it. This can also play out in a romantic relationship dynamic where you are involved with somebody that is doing just enough to keep you around, but not enough to actually make you happy and fulfilled in that relationship. What you would find is that the person will just be throwing little kind and nice gestures at you every once in a while just to keep you in place, right? But you find that you are always having this rat chase with this person where you are always trying to feed off that person's good gestures. You want the person to do something nice again to you, and the person back to back is giving some sort of disappointments here and there. The way that you would know that you are being fed breadcrumbs is when you feel unfulfilled in the relationship, but you find yourself also giving excuses for the person based on the kind gestures that the person has done here and there for you, right? You notice anything like that, please understand that what is going on there is that you are being fed breadcrumbs. The next point, I would like to describe this as when they think there's a difference between real life and Christian life. And what I mean by that is you would find people that would make statements like, it's not that deep. You're being too spiritual, or not everything is prayer, and all of that. I'm a firm believer in Christ, unapologetically, and I know for a fact that this life is spiritual. It is first spiritual before it is physical. And for every decision, every phase, every situation that you find yourself in this earth realm, you must be conscious of this spiritual undertone, right? So if you are with somebody that thinks that there is some sort of disparity between the two, then there's going to be a clash, both in your values, both in your beliefs, and in the way that you go about your relationship, right? Because what would happen is in a situation where you need somebody to partner with you and believe with you and agree with you in prayer, you would find that you are thinking, should I tell this person this? How would this person react? And all of that. This is a way that you would actually know that you are in such a dynamic, because you would be contemplating whether or not to share your spiritual beliefs with this person, right? When you're doubting your spirituality, oh, maybe am I really overdoing it? Am I being a bit too, am I being a fanatic? Am I being religious? Am I maybe taking this too far? Maybe this doesn't really need prayer. Maybe I'm being too spiritual. And you find yourself questioning your faith and your spirituality. That is a major red flag. There's so many scriptures in the Bible that talk about this particular situation. But the two that I'm going to give you in this video is Romans 1:20-22 and Colossians 3:17. Check that out and it will absolutely blow your mind, because it talks about, particularly I'm talking about Romans now. Romans talks about how there are certain people that know of God, but don't actually know God and glory in that foolishness and ignorance, which is actually pretty sad. Okay, if you've made it to this point, I think it would be a good time for you to subscribe. What do you think? Huh? 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 All right. But seriously, please, if you have gotten to this point in the video, it means that you're enjoying something about it. And I would please love for you to subscribe, like, share, and comment. That would mean a lot to me and would do a lot for my channel. So, okay, I don't know what I did there, but please just subscribe, okay? Last point is what is called love bombing. Hold on with me. I know it sounds cute, but let me explain, all right? Now, this is a scenario where you would be loaded with love, affection, care, gifts, everything that you like. Everything just seems to be going perfect. This person is doing every and anything that you want at any time that you want. And the dangerous thing about being love bombed is at first you can't really tell whether it's the initial excitement of meeting somebody new and somebody that you like, that rush of dopamine, that infatuation, that excitement, right? But you find that at a later time, the person is going over and beyond and doing things that are even a little bit ridiculous just to please you. The person is cutting down on their personal values to please you. The person is looking like he or she doesn't have a life outside of you. The person seems to be tailoring to your every and any need. And it might look like, oh, this person is just very in love and wants to do everything for me. But what that is that it is a trauma response to that person. And that person would most likely have an anxious attachment style where the person is afraid of losing somebody that they love. It could be that they struggled during their childhood trying to get the approval and the love and the acceptance of their primary caregiver. And in order for them to gain the affection of their primary caregiver, they had to perform and overperform to at least get them to glance at them, look at them, or notice them. So you would find that people like this would want to do and overdo just to ensure that you stay with them. And most of the time, what happens is that people like this will want to morph themselves into you. It would seem like they like everything you like, they want to do everything you want to do, and they don't really have a mind of their own or want to make decisions for themselves. They just want to do anything that pleases you. That's how you know that you are being love bombed. But when you see a situation where the person has, a mutual likeness to you and there is reciprocity in the dynamic of the relationship, where there is a give and there's a take and there's an exchange, not a one-sided giving, 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 giving. If that's happening to you and you are feeling overwhelmed by that action, there is a very high chance that you are being love bombed. And what would happen in such a situation is when you get to a point that you realize that you are being love bombed, it would be difficult, or let me say messy, when there needs to be a detachment. Because what would happen with that person that is love bombing you is that the person would feel that they have satisfied all requirements to enable you or to convince you to stay with them. So the moment that you want to up and leave, it's going to send a signal to their minds that history is about to repeat itself. Somebody is about to leave you again. Do everything you can to make sure this person doesn't leave your grasp. And you find that this person would start to play victim, will become perhaps overly dramatic, and want to do every and anything to keep you. And you will probably feel stuck in a situation like this. If what I have said sounds familiar to you, there is a very, very high chance that you're actually being love bombed. And that is a major red flag in a relationship. That's not a situation you want to be in, because it's toxic both for the person that is love bombing you and toxic for you yourself, because honestly, you will not be able to keep up with it. And so will the person at some point. The person is going to get burnt out at some point, but would still want to keep doing because they feel like if they stop, then they lose you. Absolutely toxic. All right, guys, so we've come to the end of this video. If anything that I said here resonated with you, or anything that I said was relatable to you, please drop comments there. Let me know. Let me know your experiences, or if there are other red flags that you think is a major, major, major thing for you. Please drop it in the comments. Let me know what's up. Let's talk. All right, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.